locked for all on, that's right. I
Right,
get stuck outside.
right.
I don't wanna,
Like
so kind of a bucket list.
our son-in-law
Yeah, so-
volunteered for the Olympics
Yeah.
and Terry's husband Steve, and he got to see so much and he never paid a cent.
Yeah,
But,
Yeah, well, that's
but that was the
the-
thing. But
that's
he
my
put
next-
down the things that he wanted to do. He
Yeah, no.
did do parking lot for one. And then he did it one time. So it was almost like, oh, well, if you're willing to do that, but he volunteered lots.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, the one thing with the World Cup is there's only one venue.
right,
Yeah.
right,
And most of the inside is gonna be professional staff,
right.
so, we'll see. First thing, I'd rather sit and watch.
Right.
And,
Instead of talking to somebody, I'll help you find your seat.
Yeah, I think
I see this one run
Can you
down.
wait until, halftime and ask me a question?
Get your popcorn here.
So, we'll see.
Is there a process, like if you get the option to buy,
No, there's no option.
so it's just you literally.
Whatever I get.
Ticket.
They charge my credit card.
Oh,
If I get all 8 tickets, they charge my credit card.
oh,
If I get
okay.
one, they charge my credit card.
It's like applying for a hunting.
Oh, I see.
You might get it, you might not.
Yeah, but it's just,
What
no, my credit card hasn't been
Why
charged.
text yourself?
What number?
And just,
You think I do?
it would be nice at these commission meetings at 5 minutes to that you wouldn't know.
551-3475.
Is that good?
Yeah,
Okay,
I never got that.
and you can see that you were on it, all of you were on there.
I have a micro small version.
But Doug said you were having trouble with
This is
your,
much easier.
so he told me today. I didn't know that, and so he said, that's why I phoned you on your house. Because if I would have known that, I would have just phoned you on your house in the first place.
Yeah.
But Hannah, like you wouldn't have got anybody's text then.
No.
Because Hans replied on the text, he never replies, and he replied, I was shocked. Susan always replies, Margaret always replies. Andrew didn't reply, but he was working, so I phoned him today.
I hate this.
Not as much as Doug hates his new phone.
Shanna,
He hasn't got a new phone for,
Yeah.
I gave him an old phone, so it's not even a new phone, but oh my god.
any way with your magic powers in,
No.
in Adobe that you can change one line
Yes.
in the report?
Okay. Did you want to send me that over Teams or what you want me to change, or do you just want to tell me?
If I could just tell you,
Okay.
it's the second paragraph.
In the agenda package?
Of the new report.
Okay.
It's under requisition, grants in lieu and surplus.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Let me just get to it.
That's. Yeah, I'm just gonna wrap that, I'm not sure. Hopefully.
So you're spelling your
So
off, so you.
where it says, this shows the requisition, grants in lieu, and it's supposed to say and contribution from S225.
Not the city of Nelson.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Is this,
See, it's time to go out to pasture.
You talking about me going out to pasture?
You want me?
Joe, what is S225 name?
That's the Salmo pool contribution service.
Pardon me?
That's the pool contribution service.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know why you're not getting it. I don't know. I looked at all the spots that I would know.
Is it getting cold, Craig? In Preston?
No,
No.
it's not.
Huh?
It's not getting cold here either.
We're supposed to go down to -10.
Yeah, right,
For
I'll
one
believe it,
night.
for one night. So we've been flooding 3 times a night,
Yeah,
and even it was supposed to be -4 at 4 o'clock. And when we went down, it was still -1.
yeah.
It was like, we're just fighting. But hopefully we'll get 3 more floods on tonight, and hopefully they can skate tomorrow.
I feel sorry for that poor guy that skied.
Oh, yeah.
We had
Yeah.
his pizza, we got up Friday, had pizza there.
Is he making it there, or do you take it
He's
and cook
making
it?
it there. You can do both.
Oh, okay, okay,
He'll make it right there.
okay.
He was busy as hell. It was good.
So what days is he open then?
I think Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I've heard that it was good, but I couldn't find what days, so.
Yeah, but from 4
Susan will just check that
4 till 8.
you can hear us and we can hear you.
I can absolutely hear you guys. Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Good evening.
So we're, you short.
Yeah, well, it's not. Hans will come whistling in at 7:01.
Yeah.
Margaret's coming, so she'll
She's always late.
come in at,
Margaret the late.
Oh,
that's
somebody's at the
Margaret.
door.
That's Margaret, I bet you.
Yeah,
Is it? It
Yeah.
is?
and I was just,
He was just calling you
I was just
late.
being.
Ah,
I was being nasty.
That's right, you're not.
So, there,
I said that Hans will come whistling in at 7:01.
I was watching the clock.
Or you'll be calling him at 7:01.
I text everybody and you saw that he responded first time ever, so.
Are you?
Yeah, you'll monitor.
I had to be without a vehicle.
I bet.
Oh, why don't you have a vehicle?
Did you hear Susan had a head-on collision with a tree?
Yes, yes.
And we're,
Well, I think it was a top on. Not a
No.
head- Oh, she hit it this way?
yeah, right,
Oh.
smack on, she couldn't stop in time. It
Oh.
fell right in front of her.
Oh, I thought it fell on her vehicle.
No,
Oh, geez.
smack.
And where was she driving? Make sure it was on the
It was a big
highway.
windstorm.
On the highway to going to trail.
Oh, I
But
noticed
December
that.
the 17th, when all these,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
big windstorm came through.
Yeah, I noticed as you were visiting right at the hospital on Sunday coming back, and I came back that way.
Yeah,
And noticed all
all the trees.
the trees.
Yeah. Like a tornado went through there.
Wow.
Same with Erie, out at Erie.
The whole way, all the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's like it just came right down that highway and just kept traveling.
Wow.
Tara was, I think, ahead of Sue.
well, so
Oh, really?
if she hadn't stopped for gas in Salmo, she would have been right through. Or-
Cause Tara got back home
Yeah.
and didn't see Sue, so she
Yeah.
decided.
Well, the logging truck came through and pushed the tree out the road. And one of the guys that drives for Glover's, he took her and hurt his car. Then Western Auto Wrecker was coming from Fruitvale going to Nelson, and he couldn't get through. So he pulled her car on, dropped her off at work, and took the car to Nelson.
Sue's got 20 lives.
Oh.
Never mind 9 lives, she's got 20 lives.
Yeah. It just costs us car.
Yeah, it does.
Well, the last one wasn't her, it was Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank goodness nothing happened to her though.
Yeah.
Can replace that car. Okay, it's 701. Told you.
Yeah.
701.
You were right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess. Here, what?
No, you sit there, that's fine.
Here. Let me get you some space then.
How you doing, Joe?
Good, how are you?
Fine. We are talking now.
All right, I'm just getting my meeting today. You guys get a lot of that this week.
I know. Okay. That's what says Monday off, that's what it's called, Monday off, Monday off. Okay.
So Andrew's probably gonna be, if he's not here already, he's gonna be late. So if
Okay.
he can show up, he'll come.
Okay, so I think we have quorum. So I will, as it's the first meeting of the year, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. And that is at 7:03 I got, Jenna? It's good? Perfect. And the first order of business is to do the election of the chair. And just for everyone that's online, the way that works is that I will call for nominations at 3 times. And the nomination from any member of the commission, I will ask the person being nominated if they wish to stand. And then that, we'll take that. If we have 2 people nominated, we will do an election of the chair. So I'm calling for nominations the first time.
Sam?
I know me, Diana.
Anybody else want to do it?
No.
Diana, do you wish to, Director McKinnon?
Sure.
Or Commissioner McKinnon? Diana would like to do that. Okay. Calling for nominations a second time. Calling for nominations a third time. As there are no other nominations,
I moved
thank
on
you.
agencies, whatever, but.
Diana, welcome. You are chair for the Salmo and District Recreation Commission
I
number
was
7 for
Gonna-
2026.
Last year. Excellent. Okay, thank you. Yeah, let's spend some money.
From for Nissan.
So we acknowledge and respect the Indigenous people within whose traditional lands are meeting today. Adoption of the agenda, January 19th, Recreation Commission number 7 meeting be adopted as circulated, and everybody got this. Sue, did you get the addendum? Okay. Okay. And the correction on there?
So Sue, just, what we can, I'll point it out.
Through the chair, just so everyone is aware, the agenda package with the correction that Joe just asked for is uploaded in the chat.
Okay. Who would like to?
I'll move, be adopted.
Anyone want a second? Margaret? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. The minutes, anything on the minutes that anybody sees that needs to be corrected?
Through the
Can I
chair,
just ask for a point of order?
Yes.
Yeah, could we just have the observer identify themselves, please?
I'm thinking that it's somebody that's just recording. Can you hear Susan? Very well?
I can
Okay.
hear you, yeah.
Okay, so we can ask if the observer will identify themselves. We've never been successful in getting somebody to speak. Usually it's somebody that's just recording the meeting and then puts it on YouTube. But if the observer would like to identify themselves, we'd appreciate that.
Diana, it's Laura Stavis here. I am online, but I think I'm identified. My name tag should be there.
Yes, we can see your name. It is the observer that we don't know who it is.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so the receipt of the minutes, everybody, if there was anything in there, let us know. Delegation, there's no delegation for this meeting. Staff reports. Who's going to do the staff reports? So just so everyone is aware, so we have Trish in the room here, Trisha in the room here. She is going to be the next Joe. But we will call her Trisha. We won't call her Joe. And so they're both here. This is Joe's last meeting officially in this capacity. And yeah, so that was, I just wanted to make sure that, so we all understand. And then of course, Craig is online and Jenna is doing our meeting tonight. So who's gonna do?
So Craig, do you want to go through Ryan's report?
Sure, through the chair. We don't have it on the screen, so I'll speak to it. And this was something that Ryan had produced for the last meeting, but we didn't get a chance to get it in front of the commission. But it's essentially a high level look at the budget for S230. And I'll just go through it. And there's a few things we've done since the last draft budget that you've seen to simplify the accounting and kind of the conversations about where we intend to spend money, especially as it relates to those bigger items like repairs and maintenance and pool capital. And I did talk about the list, and forgive me if I don't have the finer details on that tonight. But so essentially the first bullet is that the requisitions, there's an increase of 22.4%. We have some revenue increase of $2,000 for user fees. We have a operating surplus total of $15,000 from the previous year, and we're looking at CPI increase for wages. This says 2.4, but it was actually 2.5. So we had anticipated 2.4, and then at the very last minute in late November, head office told us it's going to be 2.5. So CPI for wages was 2.5. Repairs and maintenance costs. So this is where there's been a bit of a shift. The pool, we have 10,000, including 2,000 for fencing repairs, and then we're also talking about some other. And I apologize, I don't have the finer list on me, but or in front of me. But there is about 10,000 in the budget there, and then with the tennis courts, we're budgeting 2,500 for R&M, just as a number that we anticipated being required to manage tennis courts and a basketball court. The fitness center at 1,500, that is the usual wear and tear on the fitness center, the equipment, the weights, which we did. We actually did replace some of the dumbbells, which are very expensive on a per pound basis in 2025. Capital for the pool work, and this is where we've moved some of that bigger pool work into the capital. So that's now identified in the capital 60,000 line. And so there's some deck repairs in the surge tank plumbing, which was left over from the pool project in 2023. And then equipment costs, new aquatics AED, which is certainly something that we need in an aquatic facility. And then new pool stairs at 8,000. And that's a number that, and I wish Ryan was here, but it was a number that we could talk about whether that is necessary or not, but that has been in the budget for a number of years. We just haven't been able to do that. And changing the budget line items for salaries, we've got a slight increase in aquatics and an increase in fitness and a decrease in overhead. And that's how we split up the assistant rec supervisor position. I think in Salmo they're called the junior rec supervisor position. So forgive me, we've got a few of those in the regional district. So we split that up. So the overall salaries number is what it says in the budget, but we've done a bit of an accounting shift there. And there is 13,000 in grants, and that was money from the pool society from 2025 that was left over, I believe, in a reserve account, and that's gone into the 230 budget as shown for grants for 2026. And I'll stop now.
So, and through the chair, when just to explain the shifting of the rec supervisor salary, the rec supervisor's role is really when we added the pool in 2018. That position went from not being 100% full-time to being full-time. But what was important in order to fund that position was that it actually cover off pool deck hours and fitness center hours. And so that movement of that is just to make sure that that's not forgotten, that it actually has a role in the day-to-day operational piece, and that it be coded that way. And if we didn't, then it would underrepresent what it actually costs to open the facility, whether it's the pool or whether the fitness. So Ryan made those adjustments this year. It's one of the things that when, in particular, Craig and I and Ryan have been working on this budget, is trying to make sure that those hours are really clear, because we found in some previous budget iterations we were doubling up on hours. So we were really trying to make sure that stayed very clear. What I've added for you today, before we go down into the details, is the additional report that was distributed today. And we do have that in front of you. There is, and what this is to kind of give a little bit of a summary of the last 7 years. But I hope that this gives a good overview for the budget before we move into those detailed work orders. So the report is to provide information to support the conversation regarding the financial plan. So the table that's on the back side of this is the last 7 years. We do have to remember that there's 2019 is still an important year to kind of keep in our minds, because it was the last full operational year before we've gone into a number of years of disruption. So 2020 was primarily the pandemic. 2021 was primarily the pandemic. 2022 is when the pandemic restrictions started lifted after the first quarter. But as we were coming out of the pandemic, lifeguard shortages, thanks Jenna, lifeguard shortages impacted the operation. So 2023, we pretty much lost that entire season. That was the pool mechanical upgrade. So again, we still haven't reached what we were doing in 2019. 2024 was a return to full operations at the end of the first quarter, but lifeguard shortage still was impacting us in 2024. So when we go to flip that side of the paper, what's important to remember is the requisition line in the evaluation shows the contribution from S225 as requisition funding for S230. It's really important to look at S230 almost in its totality with that. And when we look at the actuals will be different than the budget. Because we only bring over from S225 the actual net difference in expenditures. So S225 carries its own surplus and those kinds of things in it, because we only bring into S230 the actual required amount for that transfer.
Just
So-
before you go on though, that first bullet is wrong. Says facilities closed in March and reopened under restrictions in August. We never closed. We stayed open the 3 months and did donations.
Right, in the outdoor pool,
In the
but in the
outdoor pool.
fitness center, that was the
Fitness
case.
center, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I just thought this was just that, so this is.
Yeah, this is both facilities.
Okay, so this is
Yeah.
just fitness, okay.
Yeah, you know, like it just
Yeah,
shows
okay.
that how much reaction there was in those years.
Yeah.
The second, when we get to that heading up comparison of revenue versus operational expense, the big thing to remember is that the commission's primary control on operational expenses is that service level. And that service level really is impacted by how much is the fitness center open, how much is the pool open, those kinds of things. And to remember that the pool is actually more staff intensive than the fitness center. I visited the fitness center like I do before every one of these meetings, and I just talked to our staff there. And what the staff are saying there is that the community, one of the number one feedback is just more space. As we have brought in some equipment through 2025, just the feeling is that the space could be bigger. Now, that's not a short term tonight. We're going to figure that out. But that's just what they are hearing. And again, the biggest struggle for this fitness operation, from the people that are attending the fitness center, they would like to see more hours. Always. Interesting conversation. I asked our employees there tonight to go back, and because the one thing that they did say that wouldn't require an increase in hours, but a shifting of hours, that there seems to be feedback that it would be better to open up later on Saturday and stay open a little later. So right now we're opening at 6:30, is to move that back to, like, you can say 8:00, 8:30, and stay open longer. So I asked if he could just take a look through, they do head counts. If he could do some head counts and give that to Sam, and then ask Sam to send that to Ryan as something that he's hearing. But the big thing is that people want it open more, but we don't know if those are new users. And that's always going to be the conundrum. The same users using it more often, that's good. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that it doesn't necessarily bring in more revenue to offset those costs. So it could be something that as you're going through 2026 for staff to monitor, and maybe it's something where we do test periods. Like, the logical test period would be sometime in November, most likely, because what you want to catch is what we know in the district is that November, December, January, February are the busiest months. March tends to start going down, and then once golf season comes in, or outdoor season comes in, that people tend to move to different types of activities. So I would suggest that maybe November is a good time to do that test. Craig has been doing, as Craig was pointing out, Craig and Ryan have been working on trying to separate out costs, and this is in particular around the pool, that are not what we would call normal operating costs, but costs about those big repairs and maintenance things, and capital. So you may see, as we look at future years here, amounts of money. Craig and we've had lots of discussions about this, and it still is going to take a lot of work with this asset management piece about how to identify costs that even though they may not be capital in nature, they are one-offs, like they're a cost that you might get this year, but that maybe it's a part or a pump, but you might not need to replace that for 10 years. And we somehow need to get control of that and get that into our operating budgets. The concern for me and is that we end up sometimes, because we have one cost that happens in 5 years, we carry that cost through the next 4, but we don't actually have a funding model that clearly identifies, hey, we're gonna put some money into capital reserves during these years where we don't have these costs, and then as we get those costs, we're gonna pull, and we have a balanced approach. That's part of that asset management discussion the board is going to be going through this year. Also note that you have a new expense this year. You have an asset management expense. That asset management expense is not funding asset management costs in the service. That's funding the regional district's asset management program. So you, as a board, especially Hans and Diana in particular, on Thursday and Friday, you're going to be going through that piece. The allocation in here is the recommended allocation from that asset management team and finance.
Because we're on that question, why is the pool, or why is the fitness center in Salmo and the pool at 5,000 and another community center, I don't have it with me right now, but all of the other ones, there's a whole crowd of them at 4,000. Like, what was the
For the asset management?
How was that figured out? That,
So I'm gonna leave that to.
okay, you can leave whoever.
Because that whole explanation will be on
On Friday.
Thursday and Friday.
Okay. I just won't be there Thursday. I'll be there Friday.
Craig and I definitely gave our input into that. It was a lot different before that. So, it's really gonna come down to a philosophy of the board. Ask lots of questions of the event and the asset management team. Do you think that's fair, Craig? Oh, sorry, we've got to turn up the volume sign on. That doesn't let me see you.
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I think the question that Director Lockwood raised is a good one, because I thought that the number was appropriate to the value of the asset, and 5,000 for the Salmo Fitness Center and the pool, where others like the Rotocrest Hall and Crescent are 4,000. I think it's commensurate with the work they intend to do. And I say they, I mean in the asset management group at head office, and inside of that service in A122. We have been successful, as we're getting into budget and finding anomalies, we have been successful in rationalizing those numbers. So it's likely sorry, I won't say it's likely, it's possible that $5,000 is a bit high, and that it could come down. If I know about, kind of the conversation we've had about a few other facilities where we've argued that number wasn't commensurate with the value of the facility, or even that we, in some cases, didn't own those facilities that a number was attributed to, it could potentially be overstated.
So we're gonna flip over that sheet, and thanks, Jenna. Hoping part of my gift of going is trying to create a sheet that can be used year after year to summarize these conversations. So I'll just go and try to lump this together. So in the regional district, red with negative is good. Sorry, I don't want to say it's good, because it's just, that means it's funding. It's funding. Expenses are the black whole numbers without the negative. So the top part, so the first part to the left, those are actual amounts. Everything to the right of that blue bar in the middle, those are budgets. The years that are marked, I think it said orange, but I don't know. The 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24. The reason that's a different color is that that's just showing that those years were anomalies. They had something in them that disrupted the service. Some years more than others. So that top part is your requisition. So it's grants in lieu. So grants in lieu for these services are quite small, but grants in lieu are a form of taxation. It's the calculation for for provincial and federal buildings. So, and then the rest in the actual part, it's the actual requisition for S230 and whatever we actually transferred from S225 into S230. The important thing, because of those years of disruption, you don't see a regular increase of requisition. It was disrupted. We were carrying tremendous surplus because of decreased operations. And you can particularly see that in 2019, not year 20,219.
Bring it back to the dinosaur.
In 2019, I don't know. Hans, does it get worse? Is it do you just start I just find that I'm not. I see what I see.
That's right. We all do.
Until I see it different. So 2019, you can see that what we actually spent in operational expenses was $261,000 that year. That wasn't a heavy capital year, but that was a full operational year.
But 2019 was basically.
So right here, so those operational expenses were $262,000.
Yeah, that's right.
And then your 2020, 2021, they're significantly lower, and that's because of reduced operations. 2022, as we're coming out of the pandemic, they're going up because wages do make a big part of this, but it's also heat and those kinds of things for the pool and work in there. 2023, it's starting, and then 2024 and 2025, we see those big increases. But what we lose is that we didn't have those normal operational years in there. Big thing to note are those surplus amounts. So those surplus amounts, we can see that they're rising. So that's in that next big pot of funding from surplus, and if we got capital grants or contributions from reserves. You see those surpluses rising through the COVID years, right? So it's 48,000, then 45,000, then 2022 is 61,000. It gets to its highest point at 92 in 2023. So what's happening there with those surpluses is they're reducing requisition. And I'm going to just jump a little bit further down the page here because this is a very important line. There's a line, it says surplus funding from operations, and operations is written in red. So we can see that how much of operations is being funded by surplus from the previous years goes up, drops in 2023, but then goes up again in 2024 and is now starting on its way back down. So in 2025, the actual operations of the pool and that $54,000 was funded by surplus. In 2025, Yeah, so in 2025, the budget had $55,000 in it. In 2026, only $9,000 of surplus of that 15 is funding operations. The rest is funding capital. So when it's funding capital, that's okay. When it's funding operations, that can lead to big spikes in taxation.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where we're at. If you were to take what we had in surplus last year, 55, add that to what we brought in taxation, that takes us almost to the 2026 potential requisition amount. So that's important to note. The other thing that's happening, we're just going to look at this capital, the capital line and the line below that. So there's a capital piece, and then it says requisition funding, capital reserve, and borrowing. So you can see we've done a tremendous amount of capital work, and it's never been funded by requisition. So it's been funded by surplus and grants. So that in some cases was community works, and the other case was the large CBT grant that we received. And money from the pool society. So those things are primarily funding capital. 2026, that's still the case. Requisition has nothing to do with capital. But if we operate fully, if we expand what our operating is, which is really we should be hitting zero every year. That's very close to it, but we don't. But next year could be the first year all of a sudden requisition has to start funding capital. And what's more dramatic for this service is that we did the mechanical room. But if we remember, we've got the pool basin. That's not, hopefully, that doesn't all come from requisition, but we have to start planning that project probably through 2026, 2027, and start really planning for it. So the pool basin, I know that there's some work being planned this year in the pool house, but it's really internal pieces like I think it's new stall dividers this year and things like that. But that building needs major work to it as well. So the other pieces that, as Craig mentioned, that we're adding in are we're adding in the R&M for the courts and those kinds of things. As we know that we're still working with school district right now, we have a lease for all of those properties of the pool and that. That might change over time. So those expenses in this asset management piece are going to become more important as we move forward. And so in total for 2026, the requisition, as Craig has said, is going up quite a bit. It's going up actually less than S225, but that combined, like you really do have to look at those operations in their totality. It's $54,000 almost on the nose. The thing to note is that the requisition from S230 is at its maximum this year. So that the bylaw changes that have come back, that's very important that those are implemented for 2020, so that we finish that process off. Sorry, Tricia, it feels like I'm kind of talking to you a little bit, but the other piece is that the piece that we haven't done is that looking at those two bylaws to combine, actually get rid of having both services. That was the original recommendation, was to look at combining S225 and S230. That part wasn't done because the ministry said that because although the taxpayers are the same, because the calculation of the taxes is different, we have to do different work. So we can't forget that work still needs to be done. And that's Tom.
So I have a couple of questions before you go on. So, Craig, you said that the wages went, or 2.5 instead of 2.4. Does that change? I know it's only 0.1, but does it change the 22.4% increase? It doesn't make a difference in that? Okay.
No, yeah, through the chair, that was just a typo in I think when Ryan wrote that report, it was 2.4 we anticipated, but the 2.5 is represented in the budget.
Okay. And the other thing is the fencing repair for the pool. So last year while I was swimming in the pool and all the stuff was getting ripped off of the fence and there was no reason for it. It's just that somebody just didn't like it that was working. And they were taking all the green stuff because they said, oh, it just looks ugly. Is that what we're, because boy, oh boy, I have heard it. It's like that stopped the wind, that, you know, there was a reason of why it was put there in the first place. And now
through the chair, I think Ryan's fence repair is 2,000 and the budget is more practical than that. I'm not sure about Chair, what you're discussing. I'll get back to Ryan and we'll get you something offline, maybe in an email to the commission about that particular situation. But the 2,000 is for more practical repairs, I believe.
Okay.
But there is feedback that decreased it decreased the pleasantness of being in the pool.
Oh, yeah. So you drive by and it's so like
Open.
It's so wide open. Are they doing something else here? You fancy? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
yes,
just-
there's
it's a-
many
it grabs
questions.
your eye.
Many
I
questions.
liked it better the other way.
So you made mention of the ownership of the pool. Is that ours now, or is it still?
We are still leasing it.
You're still leasing it? When is this going to find out what's going on?
Not in my hands. Hopefully, we will work on getting an update for in-camera. Yeah.
Well, it would be nice, just
Yeah.
to have an idea, because of course you treat things a little bit differently when you actually own them.
Yeah. Well, I think we try to treat.
I
Yeah, we try to
understand
treat it.
that. Well, of course,
Yeah.
maybe if it was ours, we would have left the green stuff in there.
Yeah. I think for Craig and I, this is the first that we've been made aware of it, so I could read Craig pretty easily, so it's a surprise for both of us, so we will have that conversation.
Just because I saw the fence.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is kind of that overview piece, so just by all means, I'll go through the budget pieces there. I'll try to move fairly swiftly through this piece. And I will bring up one piece about the grant request and my suggestion to you about what I'm item next later, and just tell you about how that works in this budget.
Before we go on, we're looking roughly at the 20 to 25% increase in vegetation this year.
Yes. We still have, that might come down a bit. There's a few things that we're still testing. But it looks like that is correct. And that is with $15,000 being funded from service.
And that's what I mean. When I
Yeah.
do that, actually. Okay, that is my last.
Sorry, and I did, go ahead. I wish it wasn't this way.
But there might be some things that might not get done, possibly, like if the fence doesn't need to, like, I know it's only 2,000, but if there's like the stairs, absolutely, they've been on the budget for a while.
So that's what, Craig said that he's gonna follow up.
Right.
Follow up with Ryan just to see. So if, I think If, this is what, if we don't go there this year, it's going there next year.
Mhm, mhm.
And I wish that we could have feathered that out. There's still work that we're doing on the budget. I mean, Tricia and I were looking at some things just on Friday. Or some things that we've identified, like looking through that, we have to talk with other members of the team about, just to understand them. But with this service does have to kind of flip and start looking at, what does that pool, how are we gonna be putting money away for them? For the pool? Unless commission says the pool isn't a community priority, like if there's work that we want to do to find out if what the community truly values, then we would have to start looking at doing some of
I
that
think
work.
it's, you know, the other part of it that sort of bothers me is we can't use trust funding anymore. Because we could before, we can't do that now. It will come strictly from the taxpayers.
Yeah, and remember that, you know, like, hopefully what the board will be talking about is how we use community works funding and those kinds of things, for regional district, properties. So there are those other streams. And hopefully some,
Providing the community works funding not already in the hole, the 300,000.
that's right, true. Absolutely,
Mine's funding the price leaders.
right,
And it was committed before they started putting it in.
right. And so like, but that's gonna be part of that conversation.
I shouldn't like that, it's just.
So what this, front page, sorry, boy, did I ever turn out small. This one shouldn't have been on landscape, but, yeah, right here. So, yeah. So this first one is the entire budget for S230. So what you can see on this page under 2026, didn't mean for this to be so small, but is the primary requisition increase is in S230. You can see what the anticipated transfer from S225 is, that is.
I thought it was.
The very.
Oh, yes, of course, I just looked over.
So the,
I like the ones that said zero.
you can see the anticipated transfer from S225 is the second line from the bottom in the top section. It's 93,023. And you can see the surplus of 15,000 there. Salaries of note, that $30,000 salary increase is not just from the inflation, that's actually the anticipation of more programming. That's partially the area that the salary piece here would be reduced based upon that conversation later about the grant piece. In terms of once you get past those salaries, the two new lines are that A122, so the 2,408, and the 13,500 for capital expenditures. So right at the very bottom. We'll go to the pages that are a little bit bigger now, if that's okay.
I have my glasses on, I can see them.
Yeah, good, because I can hardly see them. This next page, this is where Craig was describing, this is where that shift in salaries is. We're putting the salary of our junior rec supervisor is getting assigned to the pool, more to the pool and to the fitness piece of that operation. You can see that general admin fee went up fairly significantly. The community services fee, note that it just shifted lines. So it actually went down this year from 86.5 to 81,547. What is gonna remain in that line, that 5,955, yes, the second line, that is what Tricia, Craig, I, and the other and all our other managers have been working on, is really getting control of how we're budgeting training. That resulted in decreases last year, not in decreases from doing less training, but in making sure that training was being budgeted for appropriately and accurately. We were finding that people were doubling up because of the way we tracked costs. So we've got a better way of doing that, which is enabling us to decrease that amount.
Okay, so I understand these things and it's a little confusing for me, so I'm just gonna clarify because I'm not sure that anybody is following where you're going. Because some of it that's on the small page is actually in this.
This page is
Yeah.
not an ad, it's just a breakdown further of what's on that first page.
Okay,
So the first page is a sum of all these other pages.
okay. So what are you breaking down on
So-
the second part that you've left out from
Um,
the first part?
No, so not left out, the first part includes everything here.
Right,
So what you see is how, for example, if you were to look at line 51010, the very first.
Yeah.
At the top of expenses, you'll see that the 2025 budget there was $60,000. 2026 was 25.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Craig, when he was talking at the beginning, he was talking about that reallocation of that position. It's still in that big piece is
Oh, I
all
see
the
what you're
ads.
doing. Okay,
Yeah, We're going,
okay. Okay,
we're going down into details. here.
I have a question.
Yeah,
So the fitness center is the busiest over the winter time, and as it slacks off, do we slack off with staff too, or hours?
no, so the hours, so in our big centers where we're open more hours, we do bring them back a bit.
Yeah.
But here the hours are pretty controlled. So we have not adjusted the hours for the summer. So the difference in the summer here is that we add them.
Yeah, but.
Yeah.
No, I
But
understand.
we haven't reduced the hours in the fitness center in the summer.
Well, I was just wondering if possibly that you might be able to save a couple of bucks. You know, just not by doing any grand thing, but if we're only getting 3 people in the fitness center in the summertime because all the rest are in the pool or wherever. In the bar, I don't know, but whatever, maybe there's a way to do something. I don't know,
So what we can,
difficult.
the best way to do that is to evaluate the headcounts that are in there. And that's something that we could ask Sam, I'm sorry, our junior recreation supervisor to do, is to take a look at that.
Just to take a look at it, and at a certain point, we should say, well, maybe we should just change these hours a little bit, or, you know, so that. I don't wanna cut down the fitness people, but let's face it, there's only just a few there, and we're not running even, say, 25% capacity, it makes sense to do some kind of chopping.
Yeah, it is something that definitely can be explored.
I'm looking at the 25% increase,
Yeah,
coach,
yeah, understood.
and next year. Well, I won't be here next year, I don't need to worry about it. No, but I do worry about it because other things.
So what we'll do is, we're gonna get to the specific fitness piece. So the next page, I believe it says OPR 565, that should be what, the one that we're looking at.
three, oh, okay, this one is 399, but you want 565.
Oh, it's okay, it's because.
Yeah, that's what I did.
No, lift up. There you go.
Okay, my turn.
I
Thanks, Margaret.
folded mine nice, they can have both pages.
Oh, but the one that says OPR 399.
Yeah, well, they have fancy, but.
So what OPR 399 is,
Yeah.
that is the operational expenses of the pool, sorry, of more like of the mechanical type thing, so that's where our pool chemicals, all of those things are budgeted in this one. So this budget, based upon the budget, is down about $6,000. We spent about $54,000 here last year. The pool stairs, that, right, in OPR 399. 103 would also include some of those fitness expenses. So this is like anything, like all the repairs and maintenance are in this budget. So you can see in that 13,750, Craig said that he'll reach out to Ryan about the pool stairs, so we'll check into that. And we have something identified to be changed in the fitness as well. These capital expenditures in here, this is one of those pieces. That's where the change room improvements and those types of things are. So the next one, which should be OPR 565.
How did you know that?
Because I skipped it. So this is where all the staff for fitness and aquatics will be. So you can see that budget is $120,000. This also, I just want to make sure that I'm right. Let me look at the next one. No. So this is the day-to-day operations, and the big change here, the reason it went from 72 to 120 is that shifting of that junior rec supervisor into here to say that they're covering off hours in the pool and the fitness center. So where on the other sheet it went down around 40,000, here it went up 40,000, but the net difference is the same. So that's all being tracked in this work order now. You can see there's less other expenses here. This budget is really about salaries and benefits. So the next one is programming recreation.
Before we leave that one, I just want to go back to 55060. Rentals, we budget always, but we don't ever seem to have, for expenses, we don't have actuals. So why are we budgeting so much? It's the very last line on page 4 on that OPR 565.
Why are the rentals not showing up? Oh, I know why. Because they're being budgeted for a year, but they're showing up in
On another one. Okay.
OPR 399.
Okay.
It is one of the things I've got as notes to either move where this rental is. And so that rental there is half of the rental. We split what we pay SPYCC. Half of it goes to the fitness center and half of it goes into the overhead budget. So the rental is actually around 10,400 a year. But we split where that 10,400 shows up. Because part of it is not directly related to the fitness center. It's also the office that's in that space and those kinds of things. Probably not the best split, but we do that little piece. But that is what's happening there. That's a good catch. I can bet you for sure that I will see that. Yeah, if we. Where is rentals at actually? I can see it actually showing up on the
It's
roundup.
on
I will
page 2. Rentals are in the breakdown.
I haven't even seen it.
In the OBR 165, it's, rentals are right underneath vehicles, would be above recreation left. That's the,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's interesting. It's showing up all in the actuals in the overhead,
yeah,
versus being split. So that's a
okay.
voting issue.
So you guys are just trying to mess up that.
Yeah, no, not true.
Well, you're
Oh,
16.
we're, that's a good catch. PR 565, so we're on the.
OPR 566.
566. So this is the programming recreation. With the grant request from SPYCC, this is the work order that will be impacted. And what that means, all that means is if that's the choice of the commission, SPYCC looks like they're gonna be doing these programs. That will reduce, this budget hasn't been reduced yet to reflect that. But this is the budget that will be reduced. So just to know that we have, based on that grant, that change, there is an impact to this budget that would change it. So what I would suggest, right now, our programming team's recommendation is that let SPYCC do these Pro D day camps and summer camps. What I would suggest though, is that this budget would get reduced. And S218, the grant, that contribution service to SPYCC is where that money should come from. We should add it there, not add it here. That starts getting really confusing. Because I would expect, and it's something that when we get to that grant, we can talk about, if that's reoccurring funding, that's not the intent of that grant line in S230. That was never meant to be reoccurring funding for something else.
Right.
It was meant to be one-off requests. And so the appropriate place is to put that into S218. And then we may want to keep that amount separate than from the regular grant. But we'll talk about that when we get there. Sorry. Didn't drink enough water today.
You want some?
No, I should be okay. So that's the budget that will change. The next one is fitness programming. This is one just to note that Trish and I have identified to review with our programming team. So what we might see here is that the revenue projection might be low for what's being proposed. But we're going to reach out to them and have that conversation. So this piece here is not the fitness in the fitness center. This is actual program. So this is people coming to a drop-in fitness class. It is personal training. It is those types of things. So, and it does have, there are certain fitness classes that are included if you get a daily admission that you can go do a class or a pass. That's also in here. So anything that's not fitness on the floor is in this budget here. So we are, if I flip this correctly, this is aquatics. And so this is aquatic programming. So this will be aquafit, swim lessons, all of those types of programs are here. What you'll notice here is that this is where you can see that there's almost a 50-50 break cost recovery here for those direct pieces. And that is because the one thing that the pool does is its programming does generate revenue that at least covers the cost of the instructors that are going there. So that is good. So if you can see, like, the revenue is 7,500, total expense is 8,700. Just to know though, the cost recovery is also based upon the pool. So we try to calculate how much the pool actually costs to be there. So it's not that we're getting 100% cost recovery on the programs, because in this piece here, it doesn't count pool chemicals or utilities or the lifeguards that need to be there watching the kids while they're there.
Can I ask about the Aquafit? So when we use RDCK staff to do it, does that just stay, is there a component that's extra paid for that?
So paying for an Aquafit class, is that what we mean?
No, because
Sorry.
Aquafit class is not anything different than open swimming in the morning, right? Like, it's not an actual class, but it's happening
Right.
during that time.
Right.
But it's RDCK staff that is
Yeah.
leading the class.
Mm-hmm.
So do we pay extra for that?
So now you're making me wonder. I'm gonna ask you, did you pay extra for that?
No,
You're thinking for the,
Actual class.
like, do we pay more for that person to be there to instruct the class?
yeah,
And I can't think of who the instructor is right now to be able to answer that.
I can tell you who it is.
No,
It's a
but
junior.
sorry, yes, that
It's
person is
direct.
being paid. But the question is, are you paying?
Yeah, like, I pay to go into an
Yeah. Oh.
open swimming.
Yes.
Right,
And I can join it or not join it. But we have, what I'm saying is Aquafit we have an extra person that is a staff member that's actually working part of the shift.
right.
Do we pay extra for that staff person?
As in RDCK pay extra.
Yeah.
Not
There's an
active
instructor on that. We pay for everyone that's there, either teaching or lifeguard. But I don't know what the extra piece means.
I think what you might be saying is if Aquafit wasn't happening, would that person be there?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what
Yeah.
she's saying. And that's why I was trying to figure out who the staff were
Sam.
there is it Sam that teaches it? So that's where it gets confusing for me too.
Right.
That actually might be even a better question for Craig. Because if the Aquafit class wasn't either, would Sam be being paid anyways?
and I think. Craig
Yeah,
had-
sorry, through the chair. And I don't know, Chair Lockwood, if there was donations or if you paid the admission. But
Admission.
yeah, so in our other complexes, we do admission-based programming called Included with Admission, where the $8.08 gets you not only the pool and the fitness center and anything else that's going on, but there are IWA programs, including mostly Aquafit or IWA now, where the admission gets you an instructor-led course. So it's possible that in Salmo they were doing IWA Aquafit, which meant if you paid your admission, you also, at that time, you could then take part in the course.
Yeah, I don't know if we're fully at admission. I think we just put up a recommendation. And I don't know, maybe embarrassed people multiple times. Just said, hey, where's your money? Especially if they did not live in the area, which we have a lot of people that come out to do Salmo Aquafit because it's outside, right? And they love it. And when it's donation, I'm really hoping that we get away from that, because I know that we still have to deal with money when people give donations, so I know it's catch-22 because you gotta have somebody at the front.
So maybe that's a good question for Tia and that team.
Maybe it wasn't costing us anything, but now that everybody's recognized it, maybe it will.
Well, I think, one of the things that Brian and Sam need to work on is it doesn't seem like donations are the original year that we went to donations, it sort of matched what that difference, what the cost of having someone take admissions plus the donations was a better position for us than charging. But the donations seem to be like people are almost, they're not donating.
No, because they
Yeah.
like,
Or as minimal as possible.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
some people will throw in $20 and say, oh, I can come 4 times. Other people put in $1 and say, I can come 4 times. Right? And if people have issues with how cheap our recreation is, then maybe they need to find a different recreation because, you know, our recreation in Salmo and RAG is the cheapest in the Kootenays.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you go golfing, you go skiing, you go curling, you go swimming, you go to the fitness center. It's cheap,
Yeah.
right?
No,
So,
absolutely. You know, and it's been a little bit of an experiment with the pool. I mean, this year, the big thing was to really try to sign it and really make those suggested donations known
mhm.
and see if that.
Did make a
actually-
difference.
Yeah, but I don't know that it's making
Enough of a difference,
enough of a difference.
but it did make a difference.
The very final page on this one is just, it's the 5-year plan, which is similar to that summary sheet.
Mhm.
So, we're still reviewing this budget. We have some things with, some details that are in the budget. But I still think like, we're not talking that we're gonna find $20,000. We might be finding $2,000 or $3,000 to save from the budget. The big thing that we do have, what we will try to do as we're doing asset management is identify those pieces that can be funded by grants. That's the piece that we're going to have to try to rely on. So if that's okay, we'll move to S218. And to note that the commission doesn't formally look at this budget, but this is the place that we have Laura on the phone as well. So the budgeted grant amount here is as per SPYCC's 5-year plan that was submitted to the regional district, which was $66,800. Contains the $10,000 contribution to reserve. So the 2025 balance is $721. That's because we gave SPYCC $30,000 for the roof. And Laura, I just want to check and see if that money if it's ended up in the bank account yet.
Where else could it end up?
Well, just whether finance is processed.
Just kidding.
So that request has been made for that to get paid. So there'll be another $10,000 contribution here. But what I'm suggesting is with the SPYCC grant request is that it be added to S218. S218 has room to fund that, and that's the more appropriate place for ongoing funding to come from, is S218.
So the Village of Salmo has passed a bylaw, or not a bylaw, pardon me, a policy that for any funding that is coming through the RDCK from the Village of Salmo that would fund that, the pool, no, not the pool, any nonprofits, okay, that they have to do a presentation and bring the budget. So the library does that, brings it to the village, and it gives the taxpayers now, anybody in Salmo or AREG can actually come and listen to it. They can listen to it online or whatever. But that's what we've heard lots, is that people don't know how do they get funded? How does these different organizations get funded? And in the years of all of it, the library is the only one that has come every year and brought forward their budget, their strategic plan, how they're gonna, why they want the funding, what they're gonna do and stuff like that. So we can direct people, okay, this is, and then that way, the council, whoever the director is, which will not be me next year, will be able to say, yep, fund, go ahead and fund it. We're good with the thing. So what it does is it takes it away from me or him or her of making that decision by themselves, is that that they have to come and do that before that director is allowed to release the money.
So, what I would suggest is either we expand the scope of the Rec Commission to be able to hold that kind of piece for something like this, or we hold formal service committee meetings, and we can do like, because at those service committee meetings, the directors could ask, council can come.
Mhm.
You can give freedom of the floor if that's agreeable.
Mhm.
And you can do those kinds of things. I really do think, I do agree that we need to somehow create, like, it's not SDY, it's not the group's problem. We haven't given them a governance
Right.
structure to come in or to come and do that to.
Mhm.
And we need to give them that. And so it could even be that 3 times a year, like you could determine, well, their Rec 7 might become advisory, and the decision-making committee is the service committee.
Mhm.
Service committee does budgets, and this is really about getting information about how to improve the service,
Mhm.
and less of this stuff, and less of this nitty-gritty kind of stuff. So like, there's ways that we could do that.
It makes good sense to do it that way too.
Because I really do think, like, like I had a good conversation with the Salmo librarian, I think, called her Tracy, and
Yeah.
God, I tell you, it's getting bad. I'm getting people like stuff these days.
They're like letter, right?
Yeah, I don't know, like, the worst part is, Margaret, I'm thinking a different name and I'm writing something different. But it's,
You're not alone.
it's, just too many of these. I think it would actually make this process easier. Yes.
And it doesn't make sense that if they're being punished by the district, that we should hear from the
That district committee, yeah. Yeah, I think it makes it more, because like, then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Yev could be at that, I could, or Tricia will be at that,
That's it.
and we actually hear it as, hear it
More
as well.
informative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm agreed completely.
What the taxpayers want.
So, Jenna is looking to send out an email to do our first services committee meeting. Not that it changes anything else, but to be able to have some of those conversations. So this is the budget that I would suggest that when we get to that topic, that this is the budget that we're providing that funding to SPYCC. So that's later on in the agenda. There's that request for funding Pro-D day camps and summer camps. So the last but not least is S225. So this,
I took it before, it's okay.
oh, it was,
No,
hopefully it's a 0.
it was, we were all.
Perfect.
It was just.
That's for bad people that don't pay their bills.
That's true.
So S225, you'll see this is another area where prior year's surplus is reducing taxation here.
And the maximum.
So, but I catch it in that summary document, it just shows that contribution, right? I try and give that illustration. So, so that's S225, it's pretty simple, it's going into S237. The next one for S225 will just be the 5-year plan. So there you can notice though, that as that surplus is going down, that the requisition is going up. So that it's pretty obvious in this one. So what I would like to get some, because I've heard a few different things around the budgets. And from individuals around the table, I just want to make sure there's concurrence on commission to look at these things. So I've heard, let's look at, can we reduce fitness center hours in the summertime period? Is that something that commission wants us to bring back an evaluation of? Like, it's worthwhile doing if we're willing to make that change. But if it's just us doing that work, it just becomes work that's not productive. So is that something that you would like to be investigated seriously for this?
We don't know how much the amount of the change, so it's.
Well,
We have to find that out. But
right,
quite frankly, I think it's a good idea because that way we're maximizing the value of our staff. And the people who may have to switch and go from 2 hours to 1 hour a day on special days, they might be put out a little, but they wouldn't be put out that much, especially since most of their friends are already doing something else. You know what I mean? Like Breach Lake, if you've got a room full, you get more people joining.
It's too bad that Andrew's not here because he is a user of the fitness center, and just us changing it for the school affected multiple adults that were gonna leave our fitness center and go to Nelson or Castlegar and use theirs because they couldn't get the hours, and that just doesn't benefit our fitness center at all. So I don't know, is it gonna make that much of a difference in the summer to cut off 2 hours a week? I don't know what kind of hours that you would be looking at.
Would
Changing-
you recruit those people to come back?
That's right. Cause
That's
once
right.
you lose them,
like that's always. It's always the challenge once you have set time.
Mhm.
But what we can do is at least I have no problem doing the work if everybody from commission wants to know, like, how does that change it? How
Yeah.
does it change? We can do that work.
Because I'm not in favor of changing the hours if we're gonna save $50.
that's right.
Because later you're in worse condition.
We lost 500,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
right? Cause
You know, and then it's disruptive to the staff.
Yeah.
Too, I don't know, I think there's a lot of fallout, but I'm not saying not to check into it.
it would be nice to see head counts.
Mm-hmm.
To see, because if there is I see,
Yeah.
Susan, there is a big amount, like if we're gone from 25 people to 2 people, then there might be something to look at. But I highly doubt that we do that huge drop.
25 people to 6 people. Let's say that happens.
Yeah, you might get that, on some days, but
We don't know.
that's right, that's,
I would say, listen, if your normal run right through the winter was 25 people, now you're down to 6. And they might be persuaded to pick slightly different hours or something.
I think something else to keep in mind, adults don't have the whole time off. They still have their work schedules. Those who come in the morning before, I know nothing about the numbers, but just thinking as a worker, if I'm still working, I'm still gonna keep my, doesn't mean, oh, I'm gonna go to the beach today, play beach volleyball, like, cause I can be outside, you know, that we still have our daily routines.
Yes, that's right.
Something to be considered.
Susan?
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate this conversation, and I'm kind of curious about like what is the level of significance we're hoping for? Like, are we? Because I heard someone say if this is we're saving $50, let's not waste our time. So, yeah, are we worried about? I wonder if we can, or if staff can guide us around like what a threshold would be reasonable for us to actually ask staff to take on this work. Is there a way for us to look at historical documents and see, yeah, it's more than a 50% drop in the summer, or are we just creating a bunch of work right now?
I think it should be pretty, so I don't want to say easy, it's the wrong word to use. But it should be something that can be accomplished. What we're trying to do though, is if that's about impacting this budget, that means it needs to be done fairly quickly. And that's where the challenge comes in. And now knowing that what I can do to it, like what I can inform is that usually, say for example, Nelson is the biggest operation. The reduction in time is at the end of the day. It's not the day, like the times that we're running are within the operating times of Nelson in the summer. So the time that we're taking away are those, like we're already the times. The Salmo Fitness Center is not open like Nelson.
Right.
Nelson is open from 5:30 a.m. I think it is until 9:30 during the winter, the entire day, where we have blocks that were closed. So all I'm saying is that the time is already targeted. So you have less improvement or less compaction to be able to make.
Yeah.
So I doubt it would be very much, like just trying to think of what the increased cost for the additional 2 hours.
That's what I just pulled up. So through the chair in, this looks like it was from November's conversation. And again, in looking at this, it was saying extending the hours on Mondays and Wednesdays will result in a total increase of $2,700 in salaries for 2026. So if you take that back, if you're looking at say 2 months, July and August, you know, a bit of time, it's obviously gonna be a lot less than that.
Right.
So I can't do the math in my head.
Yeah, I personally don't think that it's worth staff time, because we went through this, we switched the hours to be able to make it that the students could come, and we were looking at losing 6, and it doesn't sound like it's a lot, but 6 adults that wouldn't come back. And those were full-time users that will bring their families and bring other people. So then we added, and we, you know, Salmo threw the money to be able to make sure that that didn't impact our revenue for last year for $2,600. I would rather look at, was there enough students that used it, that why we did that? And if there wasn't, then go back to our regular hours. That's what I would rather look at, my personal self. I don't know how everybody else, because that's what we did, is we extended for the students.
And the other thing that I would say like might be more productive, and it wouldn't have to be done now during budget time. But what would be more productive is to look at those strategic changes like moving Saturday.
Right.
Would that increase? What are those things? So I think there's good work to be done here. But I would just take it to April to look at those numbers.
Yeah, and through the chair, if I remember the conversation in November as well, is there'd been so little time to really even evaluate the benefit of that change, that it was felt that we needed some time, and this is probably the best time to sort of see that usage
Mhm.
change, would be, well, similar to what you were saying earlier, like November through till spring at least. So, yeah, that's fair.
So, Jenna, can we just make sure that we capture that? To do that evaluation of time for sometime in April?
And maybe the student extra hour drops off from June to September. Maybe we don't have that extra hour
Yeah.
from June to September because June, they're so involved in grad and school activities and stuff like that, that a lot of them don't do the fitness, and it's summer and stuff like, and then summer comes and they're not doing the fitness anyways, and they have the opportunity because they're don't have to hang around after school.
They can have any other hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I'm wondering if we could just make a note that maybe June to September is, yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Are we, or,
If there's any other direction from the commission regarding budget?
Well,
Okay.
this is what we're looking for.
okay, so we've done that one, and now we're on to new business. So this is the grant application from the Salmo Valley Youth and Community Center. And I'm wondering about if we could give Laura freedom of the floor. Or if this is a tricky one for me to maybe understand, because Sue, your name is actually on the application. So if we had questions, you would be able to answer them, but you're a commissioner, so should you be?
Through
No.
the chair. Sue can, no, actually, well, Sue can actually inform
Okay,
the question
Yeah.
on the application. But if Laura is in a better position to answer, I think giving Laura as she's the staff, that you're correct.
okay, so if somebody would like to give me a motion, freedom of floor for Laura. Thank you, Margaret and Ian.
Is it reading off the floor, or is it permission to make a presentation?
No, because she's not making a presentation, it's just, we're gonna go over it, right? Because it's not a delegation,
Pretty sure it's a delegation.
yeah.
You could have a staff make a presentation.
Well, staff of the RDCK, not staff of another organization.
I'm not gonna disagree, because I know. What I know. Never mind.
If I'm wrong,
It
then,
doesn't matter, I'm forgotten.
okay,
So,
all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. So Laura, you have freedom of the floor. We're gonna have Susan explain it, give us some stuff on it. And then if there's stuff that we're, as we go through it, if there's something that Laura needs to help us.
You so through the chair. This just for a bit of context, the board at the Salmo Valley Youth and Community Center is actually working really hard to be a policy-based board and not an operational board. And so the application in front of you was approved by the board, but not developed by the board. Just to be clear around how this is working for us. And the direction that was given to staff was to investigate the feasibility and viability of the SVYCC providing these programming opportunities for kids coming into 2026. And so that's what staff worked on and provided back to us with the accounting and the rationale around what this could look like and why it would look like that, and then was approved to submit this as a funding request. That's what I can tell you about it. And then any of the sort of operational detail would really be for Laura to respond to.
Okay. Let's see, because Joe touched on in our budget where, right now, the RDCK runs programs, these kind of programs. So, I'm gonna get you to tell us how it's going to affect us. If, say the commission, and I'm just gonna, this is hypothetical, the commission said, no, we still wanna keep running programs, but the youth center also wants to run programs, which is a horrible idea. Or maybe it's not, but I think it might be. How is that going to affect everything? Like, can you just give us a little bit of an overview of it?
Do you have,
The net difference.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I know that Trish talked
Okay.
about what that net difference, so what would happen in our budget is that some revenue and some expenses would come out, which would equal a net savings.
Yeah, a net difference of $4,850.
That's for a year-long program?
No, well, it's camps, so they're at different times of the year, but predominantly in the summer. It
Yeah, I
was,
just read start date is July 6th to 26th, ends of July 30th to 27th.
those are the SVYCC proposed camps, and theirs are involving,
Okay.
and Laura could probably speak better to this, but
Right, I thought it was part of the rest of the funds, that's why.
sorry.
It's just for the year. And that's what they did, is they just went
You're
from
not
July.
giving pass reference?
I'm talking about the RDCK's budget
Yes,
program.
yeah.
Hans was
Yeah.
referring to this,
The grant
which is the
application.
SVYCC.
Yeah.
It's a grant
Yeah.
application, and then the grant application says it's for a year. And I just wanted to know exactly how that year works out and why it is for a year instead of for 3 months in the summer or 3 months next.
If I can, it's because the grant includes pro DJ, so it would be so it's our fiscal year, so it would be this summer, and then the pro DJ camps for the following school year.
Okay, understood, thank you. And about the funding request is the same.
Yeah, it's all included in this. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, that's all I wanted to know. Not a problem.
Go ahead.
So the funding request, and Laura, please tell me if I'm reading this incorrectly, the funding request through the regional district is the $10,131.83, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so to Commissioner Cunningham or Director Cunningham's question, so our budget would show a net difference of $4,850. It's a 4-week camp, does not include, does not reference anything to do with Pro D-Day camp. So it's a slightly different scale of service. But the difference in ask is that there's the $4,850 in the S230 budget versus SVYCC's for another level of service, so more offerings throughout the year. The ask would be $10,131.83, and the recommendation through Joe would be to put that to S218. Not out of S230, but S230 would still be reduced.
S2.
1.8, so that's
1.8,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
S218 is the service to fund, make contributions to SVY.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's okay, I understand it all. Good, don't have a problem.
I have some questions on the whole thing. So right now, RDCK, if we run a program and it doesn't run because we don't either have staff or we don't have enough kids, that money stays in our rec commission. And it's happened, if there's a program that's ran at the youth center and there's not enough staff or there's not enough kids and it's canceled, we're funding something that's not happening. So I'm not saying that it's not something that they don't take on, but that would be a problem, I would think, with taxpayers. They spoke I heard lots, about programs well before Laura was in this seat, is that programs would be offered and then at the last minute canceled because there's not enough kids, right? And then there would be grant aids and all that kind of stuff that, where did that funding go? So is there any way that if they took on that programming and, because it's still the taxpayer that's funding it, of us being able to make sure that if the program is ran, it's funded, but if it's not ran, it's not funded.
So it could be done two ways. One way could be that SVYCC would be asked to produce a report at some point and then return unused funds. That's one way of doing it. The other way would be, Lauren, I don't know if this works for your cash or cash flow, but it could be that the grant, there's a budget for a grant. And as those courses are running, there's a net expense of the 10,131 is funded. It could be that as those courses are happening, that there's an invoice to the district for that fund detailing what it's for. And then that can be reported so that if the camp doesn't run, there wouldn't be an invoice or not as much of an invoice. And then anything that's remaining stays inside S218 to a maximum of 10,132.
If I may, it sounds difficult to me, and I know that if I was working to fund something like this where I've got other people besides us throwing in money, I think it'd be difficult. I certainly would like a report, but if this is going to be an ongoing thing every year with various amounts of money, I would wait till the end of the year and say, okay, let's see what's left, and we can adjust how much we give them the next year, depending upon how much is needed. But otherwise, if I was involved in this, I'd go nuts, money in, money out. Whoops, I gotta keep track of this thing, but this one was canceled, but only in the mornings, the afternoon session is still running. Oh, yes, great. No.
That's why there's two ways.
I think let them do their job, and we've given them the grant. It's like we give grants in and we check afterwards what kind of a job they've done, and then we adjust funds accordingly, and that's the way I'd like to work on this. Otherwise, it's a mess for them, and it's a mess for us, because, money coming in every month or every 2 months or whatever, depending on what happens and doesn't happen, it'd be difficult, especially if you've got to arrange for instructors ahead of time and you don't really have the money yet, or God knows what could happen. Anyway, like I said, there's an organization, it needs to operate, and we need to make sure that we've done our share in helping them operate, that's all.
What was that?
Like if they were to invoice for, like, this program's complete, and then invoice was to turn around for funding for when you invoice, like 4 weeks.
Well, it would be at least a week at the minimum.
So it's not.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you guys hear that? I don't know.
But there's
Okay.
there's two methods. Definitely the at the end is the easier method.
Like the .NET report, like that.
Yeah, when funds come in, like .NET funds, or if they have another special program, or some of those programs, things happen like with the soccer side. Usually they expect to get 20 kids and end up with 50. Those kind of things happen too, so they may get more money rather than less. I think basically by giving them a grant, we've told this organization, you guys go ahead, we've given you the grant, but we want to know how it works out.
Right. I think though what I'm hearing though is that there's an expectation that if revenues are higher, that if the program runs next year, that's accounted, that this is a pure accounting for these programs. So I think that's an important thing to talk to SPYCC about right now. If that's the expectation, then this cannot be used for anything else. So that's important for a commission to get across.
Their abilities too, because all of a sudden we've got a professional tap dancer coming in, and Jimmy Grant is coming in for 2 weeks to do a special course. That's gonna be somebody, isn't it? But I've seen ghosts before. Anyway, joking aside. The point is, if we do get people who are have extraordinary expertise who may want to hold courses, there may be a desire all of a sudden to do it, and then of course if the funds aren't there, then we have a problem.
Right, but I think what's being asked, I think all that I hear from commission, I don't want to turn this in, is that there's an expectation here that this funding is for this particular thing, and that's a reasonable thing to, if that's what commission wants.
Cause you can always, it doesn't matter what group it is, you can always go and say, oh yeah, oh, we did this, we got a tap dancer in. And we did this group and we did that group, and oh yeah, we used the funding. And that's not where I think that's where I'm hearing is that this is the program that they're wanting to run. A concern of mine is that RDCK couldn't find staff to run camp programs in the summer. So I don't know if they've got a magic bullet or something to make that happen. Cause it sounded like we had the kids, we didn't have the staff.
In some cases.
In some cases.
I think no matter what, it's, the good thing here is that our staff and SPYCC things just start, that they talked from both our staff and from SPYCC staff, they feel that this change may work. The only concern here, Laura, from the commission, from some members of the commission, is that funding can't be used for anything else. And that it might be able to be, if the program doesn't go again, the commission may want the money returned. It may want to fund something different. Don't know, that's a future commission will make that decision. But just that it would need to be accounted for and kept whole.
I mean, essentially the grant is covering labor. So if the programs don't run, we don't incur the majority of the expenses. To alleviate the concern about staff, our current staff are on contract that would typically expire in June, and they've all expressed an interest in staying on to do these camps. So I think we will be able to have the facilitators. The kids, I mean, because we don't have a lot of a track record in the community, running camps, any organization doesn't. If parents have started to look outside of the community or for other solutions that we might be undersubscribed would be a concern of mine. But I do feel like we're in a good position to move forward with it. I'm happy to report on it. And if for whatever reason the camps don't run, I won't have incurred the expenses, and I understand that the money would be specifically for those camps, and we could, return it or continue it to another year, whatever the commission desired.
Yeah, because the library runs Pro D Day things, and that was one of the things that there was trying to find out who's doing what, and that was RDCK staff tried to get that all together, and so I wouldn't want us to have it. We don't have thousands of kids, that we have somebody running Pro D over there and somebody running Pro D over there, because we don't have enough kids.
Yeah, our camps, how we propose them is that they would be full day, and they wouldn't be like currently the Pro D camps that the RD is running and the library parents need to attend, and they address a younger crowd. Ours would be targeted 8 to 18, and they wouldn't be parented. They would replace the full day of childcare essentially that would have happened at the school.
Okay.
Further to that, there was, if you been watching TV lately, the kid that fell off the ski lift and died, one of the people attending him was a professional first aid trainer, and he talked about for people that came to help this kid, you know, CPR and stuff, but then he led into, well, he said, what we really need, and he said, I can organize it, is to do first aid training, you know, with the basic training, the ABC stuff. He said, right around the province, and it's through Alberta as well. And he said, we have the funds to do it. What we need is a little bit of just organization and to start. So if this person comes to us and says, okay, I would like to organize an ABC first aid training, basic first aid training for anybody in this village, how is he going to do it? Where is he going to get the money? I mean, the building and the facilities is what I'm talking about. You know, because that kind of thing I can expect. If what he was talking about on TV was explicit and good as he said, it would be something we could have here. We've had it here before, of course, but
So we do offer first aid
yeah,
training. Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
But just pointing it out.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question on the budget or on your guys' expenditures? Facility rentals, 9,300, this wouldn't happen at the youth center?
No, this is at the youth center, and I'm trying to reflect the cost of the use of the facility. So it's not something that's captured even within like the RDCK's budget for camps, is that we're using other spaces in the building. There's a lot of wear and tear, there's a lot of janitorial, etc. So that would be the cost, like our market rate cost, if someone were to come in and rent only our gymnasium for the days that I intend on running the programming. So not included in that would be the youth lounge, the climbing wall, the kitchen, etc. That all would have increase that market rate even more, but just trying to reflect the cost of the facility within the budget, because we don't often capture that.
And I think through the chair, Laura's captured it as a revenue, just saying that's the SPYCC contribution at the top. Correct?
Yeah.
Would respond. Not, but it
Well, they weren't
corresponds
the
to.
same, and that's why I
Yeah,
was
it
asking.
corresponds. But I think there's admin support and some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what do we do now?
I don't know.
Through the chair, if the commission supports it. The recommendation that I would say, so the commission can consider that coming from the 14,000 and S230.
Yeah.
But my thought against that is that this hopefully is successful, and if it's successful, that means it's continuing. And that's not the intent. It would seem better to me that the commission direction, if it supports the grant application, is to include it in the budget for S218 contribution to the Salmo Valley Youth and Community Center.
Okay.
Can I just add, sorry, one thing? If we're successful in running the program this year, then I would foresee that we would be able to apply for like gaming grants for it after we've run it successfully for a year, so that we wouldn't necessarily have to come back to this table to ask for this full amount, and we might be able to reduce that and find funds elsewhere once we've demonstrated that we can run these programs.
Can I ask a little bit about the CBT funding for youth programs?
Yeah.
How does that fit into this? Because that's before, there's been some programs that have ran through the youth center that has been funded through CBT, and they were after school programs. So how does this not fit under that?
We still are running all of our after school programming. So the CBT funding funds 12 to 18-year-old programming. 12 to 18. And we are using that in after school. So that budget was complete, and that spending prior to so we fully accounted for that money and their expenses prior to the conversations about us taking on the summer camps and the Pro D Day camps.
Okay. Understood.
Okay. So where do you?
Well, I think I'll put it on the floor. I'd like to move against the use it as a budget item for this year. I wonder what's gonna happen in future years. We have to figure out a way of having some kind of sustainable funding. And if that, well, that sustainable funding comes with the rec commission continuously, like say the swimming pool, or will it be some other kind of special funding?
Sorry, so through the chair, my recommendation would be that it comes from S2 money.
Okay.
Because it's, when you have a contribution service that is to this, it's exactly for this, it's exactly for this.
Okay.
That's
very
right.
good. And so I'll move.
So it should be included in the motion,
Right, that it
Yes.
comes from S2
to
money.
1A specifically.
So right now, the motion, I don't know what your motion that you moved, because I didn't hear it, but that the board approved the payment of the following grants from the Rec Commission. Number 7, service number S230. That's in here.
Oh, so you would change that to S2
Okay. And also, Jenna, it says Slocan Valley Youth and Community Center. We would love for them to pay for it, so we'll keep it that. But I'm pretty sure you should have that, the Salmo. So, and this is, so with putting this number in, the 100 and whatever, oh, it's 10,131.
Yeah,
10,100, are we doing actual cents, 83 cents?
we would just, just can't get it to.
Okay, thank you.
Doesn't need to be in here, that is request. Reporting or invoice, or however that part carries out, is that
Yeah, it's,
after?
I
this
think
is
it could
passed?
be
Yeah.
part of, and further reporting invoice, how do you,
I think, and for that, a final report, Laura, when's your, let's say that it's in January of, 2000. Let's make it December of 2026. Okay, so the final report will be given in December of 2026.
did you get that, Jenna?
Sorry, through the chair. Yes, I did.
Thank you. So everybody got that? Everybody clear as mud? So that the board approved the payment of the following grants from the Recreation Commission number 7, service number S218, 2026 budget. Salmo Valley Youth and Community Center, $10,132. And further, a final report be given by December 31st, 2026. But should we not have one in 2027? Or should we just have one?
Well, every camp would be able to finish. would it
No,
not?
but this is until,
Oh, the budget.
Yeah, I think once you got, when
2027.
you got that report, it's just that because SPYTC's year operating year is different than our operating
Right.
year. You would get it for there. Then Laura would be able to report on those projections that there was anything for the 2027 budget. Right, it's just it gives you the information when you're doing this budget.
and put it on.
I'll second.
Yeah, second. Any more questions on that? And this is just for the 1 year. This isn't going forward. This says a 2026, so everybody's good with that. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. And Susan, you recused yourself? We need to make sure that that's in the minutes.
She's the board chair of SPYTC.
So Jenna, she's the board chair, and that's why she recused herself. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so public time. So Laura, you're public. Do you have any questions for us?
No, thank you.
Okay, observer, do you have any questions for us? No? Okay, so the next meeting is February the 9th, which is, 2.5 weeks away.
Family Day weekend.
No, I think Family Day is the weekend after.
I know that's why that's not,
Is
that why that's so soon? 2.5 weeks or?
I'm not, it was in our last minutes, I'm not sure why.
Just through the chair, Jenna, why February 9th?
It was approved in 2025, and that is why it is in the agenda.
Well, because the 16th is Family Day, so
Yeah.
if nobody would be available.
Right.
But just isn't necessary.
Is it, do we
We have
need
business
to have this,
in
what
the-
I'm wondering?
No, I don't think so.
So the next, so at that commission meeting, you could be able to review the changes, like the changes to the budgets based on this piece right here.
Yeah.
And any other changes that we're able to find. So
Okay.
you would have
So-
that. But you don't need to do that if you set up to you about whether you want to set a commission meeting for that, if the commission wants that meeting, or if you want to have that, have time to do a services committee, and you can go through more than just these budgets. But that's up to you.
That sounds
Well-
like an interesting idea.
I guess it need to be able to look at the budget first, for me to be able to decide on that. Yeah,
So here's for like, sorry, this is for all commission, but for example, I got the budget for the Salmo Library
Mhm.
last week. That budget will not be included in your documents on Friday. Because it came in after the point where I couldn't make any more entries into the regional district system. That will open up again after Friday, so then I can make those changes. And that would go for everything, all of these changes. So all I'm saying is that the advantage of the service committee, especially for the directors, when you're kind of stacked, like in February, we're getting close to the end. You can go through any budget that you want to at a service committee meeting. At this meeting, technically the only budgets you can approve are or recommend to the board to approve are S230 and S225. Where if you do a services committee, you could do library, a wellness center, all of those pieces.
the only problem I have with it is council's passed a policy and I can't go against policy unless, and the policy is that the groups would come and present to council for the director, whoever the director is to approve whether you sat down and still had those committee meetings, but, and it gives people of the whole area to be able to come and listen, and be able to have, and it would be at a COTW always, it wouldn't be at a business meeting, so it would be at the.
Well, community, commission of the whole.
No, community as a whole.
Oh, community.
Sorry, I apologize. And so that way then people so it's getting away from one person making a decision and making groups responsible for the taxation that they're getting. So people can see and hear.
Well, what about
they're
in
getting.
area G? Now they have to come and listen to what the village said.
Pardon me?
So it's like, yeah, I mean, the people in area G, and I can think of several, who would feel bad that the village here is having say on which these things are happening.
The village already has say, both directors.
The directors have say.
Okay, so we're not gonna go down that path right now. The area directors don't have a council that they have to respond to. All municipal directors do. So the municipal directors are governed by their councils. The elector areas are not governed by anybody but themselves. So you can say yay or nay whenever you want. The directors of municipal councils are supposed to be listening to their municipalities. So that's why it's no different than community development money. I can't say, oh, I'm gonna give.
Right, you go to council.
I have to have a resolution from council to approve to give $2 to the pool, where Director Cunningham could give $2,000 and not ask anybody. It just gets approved at the board.
Right. Well, he does through the board. The only thing is that even, I don't think, so if we have a commission meeting, we can bring back S225 and S230. If we do a service committee meeting, you could bring back any budget, like even if it's just to review it, to be able to see it again. Like, so for example, the library's been to council. So all I'm suggesting, like there was the question, I don't think I've gotten an answer to it yet, is did council, what was the feedback from council?
So
I don't know what from the directors, like in the end, the decision about the regional district budget has to be done at a regional district governance table, not at a council.
Right.
You get to represent council at that.
That's right.
At that table. And then if there's a disagreement, that goes, there would be nothing, there wouldn't be a recommendation coming from commission to the board. And then it would become a problem at the board team. Right, but I have to add if we want to talk about other budgets in S225 and S230, the service committee is the way to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So use the library, they did a delegation, we can't make any recommendations or anything out of delegation. And then we got a new budget. Yes, it was a little change, but now that's a different thing. So it's coming actually to the next council meeting for approval or not approval, because there was no motion, because it can't happen at a delegation day, just like the board. So there hasn't been approval on it. Yes, council was all very happy with everything that they're doing, and I'm very.
Right, but I feel for you because I understand that you have that hat to wear.
Yeah.
The one thing is that if you were to take that date, even if it was like you can invite Margaret and Ian want to come, they can come, and we can go through those budgets. It just, I think it would make it more clear before you go to your public budget meeting that you've already talked about those, but you know what's in them.
Yeah.
One that has specific concern, of course, is the budget for the museum. Because in Weimar, as you know, it's a single bylaw that says 25% of the budget goes to Weimar. And Salmo is having difficulty and has had difficulty with its museum for various reasons for various numbers of years. And I don't know what to do about that because it's a Salmo museum, not the Weimar museum. But the Weimar one is going great guns and needs money. Their funding has not gone up appreciably in quite a number of years, and there has to be a way for that to happen. I don't know what that way is.
So that's even something that's something that we can talk about. Like if we set up that services committee meeting, we have the bylaw already, we set up the meeting, Jenna will, sorry, Jenna, you can really scream at me when I'm gone. But you can, we'll do a call for agenda items. So we can put that down as a topic, that we're gonna bring that budget back. And here's the thing, and we'll bring the bylaw with it so that the directors and myself and Police Stewart might be able to attend. And you can have that conversation. What other tables do at those service committees is, in Creston, an additional council, the alternate director is always there, and they always give her freedom on the floor. Slocan Valley is huge, is a really big, services committee, but just like those groups that have done that method have found it very, very helpful to have these kinds of conversations.
But it's never happened in this area, so.
No,
So that's why council
yeah,
said we need to make our own policy. If it's not gonna happen,
right,
Right,
so,
so-
but just the one thing for the council to remember, they cannot make policies that hinder the board's.
it's not
decision. Yeah.
hindering the board's decision. It's helping whoever the director is this is the direction.
Right,
We either hear from groups, it doesn't matter who it is, we hear from groups, or we're not gonna fund the
Right.
taxation.
but the only, so like this would be a really good topic.
Make that decision. You can make the decision, but then those decisions would make it before taking.
And, it's really important to have that service committee, because I think council's actually misguided in that. They should come to the service committee meeting, because what is funding those groups? The village is a member of the regional district. And it's and when that service is a regional district service, that delegation should be coming to the district service. Of whatever committee or governance committee the board has directed them to come to, that is where they should go. And because what you don't want to do is confuse those groups by having them come to one table and then another table.
They don't come to another table ever.
Well, right, but
That's
if you,
the problem.
I know, but if you create this committee, you can have them.
Right.
To that.
Right.
To that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm sorry,
So then-
sorry for taking
No,
other commissioners.
no, it's all right. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, because that is a
Yes.
difficult one, because I know that for years, the museums had difficulties. And there are two ways to solve them, right? You can cut the budget, as not really give them a zero budget, and then they definitely close. Or we can, with the amount of money they're getting, they can heat the place and light the place and keep a part-time secretary, and they don't even have a curator. They don't have anybody who cleans the damn displays and things like that, because they have no money. And we could ask volunteers, but after a while, volunteers get tired of doing the same old. There is a historical association that is said, sort of, they'd like to do the museum thing, but it has never grown to the point where I've had a presentation. And I don't know, I'm that this way, being the Salmo Museum, I'm sort of trying not to play a part of this, because it's not really my bailiwick. The Weimer one is.
Right.
And so, and that's where I want to go with this. I'm sorry now that we have a combined budget. We could separate it. Could we separate the budgets?
A good discussion at a services
and
committee.
that's right, that's right. Because,
Not because I don't want,
It's
it's just that
in
there's
it.
people that.
Yeah.
Should like.
okay, so let's stick with the February 9th meeting.
Yeah.
And if you guys put it in and we'll decide if it's gonna be a service committee meeting
Mhm.
or a recreation,
Okay,
okay? So if you can, Susan, put it in your calendar for the 9th. That we're still gonna do the 9th meeting, but we don't know if it's gonna be a service commission, a service committee or a rec commission.
Yep, I got that. And if I could just ask, where would I find the bylaw about the service committee meetings? Because I
service
think,
committee,
Joe, you mentioned that we already had a bylaw about it.
well, the regional district does.
Oh, the
Yes.
regional district does. Okay. So
It's not that,
it's,
it's not bylaws yet.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
yeah, okay. So who would like to adjourn?
Margaret.
Okay. All in favor?
Yeah.
Well done, Mark. So where are you going
Thank
now?
you. And I'm sorry that the rest of you that are on there can't join us, but we're gonna have cake.
What's
your next
job?
What's my next job?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Coming and having
Thank
coffee.
you.
Coffee.
Bye.
I would give you guys cake, but it wouldn't be good by the time you came.
Congratulations, Joe, and thank you for all your guidance. I've appreciated the work with you at the table.
No, thanks, Susan.
Yeah.
No, thanks. It is great. It's a good group. Some of them are throwing people.
Have fun. Good night.
We're not retiring, are you?
Yes.
Well, this is unfair, you know, you started after me and you're quitting before me.
Ah, sucker.
Bye.
Only